forward to doing more of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't we, Yoder?
Yes. I saved the whole PowerPoint thing. So we
Did you?
do the same thing
I
again.
saved my passport too. Like we can tweak that if needed.
I've done that exercise with high school government classes, but
Yeah.
made it more complicated. It was
High school?
the actual county budget.
Oh.
And interestingly enough, high schoolers will cut the police department to fund parks.
We're the
Really?
elementary.
Yeah, it took a little different perspective. High schoolers said, that county sheriff, he doesn't need that much money, but we need our parks.
Really?
Pretty consistently. But, you know, that's teenagers and they may have a different perspective than third graders. Third graders were amazingly responsive. I thought that indoor splash pad would, I'd get them all on that.
Yeah.
We did.
But they chose,
For $1,000.
they chose to save money or, yeah, or, I mean, it was really responsible to see. I may ask the town council Thursday night to go through the same activity.
The outcome
Yeah.
is?
I was gonna say, that sounds like we could all benefit from
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Before I tell them what the third graders said,
Yeah.
I will do that, because we got a short meeting.
It'd be fun. It'd be really
Oh,
fun.
I will add that to the agenda.
Well, it is 6. I haven't heard anything from Scott.
Did you send him a message?
I did just a minute ago. What are the rules going forward if we don't have
Forum.
a forum?
Can't vote.
Can't vote,
Can't
but
vote.
can we still communicate
Yeah.
what's going on? Okay.
Eric's coming tonight too.
You told me that.
Yeah.
Mike, are there any specific items on here? I know we talked about the shades for the picnic tables, but is there anything on here that we are waiting on a vote for?
Nothing that we're going to talk about, yes, we need to decide on, I think you decided on moving this climbing structure here, if you look up on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure if you decided where to move it. And then there was some discussion about whether we focus on buying shade or focus on expanding this parking.
Okay, if we're unable to vote on that this month, is that going to delay any of that from happening significantly?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, so I was wondering if I should
Make them come back.
just try to get him on the phone for a vote if there was something specific.
they won't
that he was
answer the
gonna
phone.
vote. Yeah, figured I could hassle Scott. It sounds like somebody.
No, that was through the PD side.
That may be my.
Okay, all right. Is that it?
No.
Probably Gary.
Our hopes up.
Raider.
So if it delays it, we're talking to then have the discussion in July,
Puppy.
which at that point,
Got a new puppy?
Welcome.
What's the puppy's name?
Raider.
Radar?
but if we don't vote on it, just.
Raider.
Raider.
Cool.
Which is fine.
Well, I will try to keep an eye on this and see if we hear anything from Scott. But I guess we should go ahead and call the meeting to order. Does that also include we can't vote to approve the minutes? We'll have to postpone that to next month. Okay. All right. Call the meeting to order. We have Andrew Medford and Michael Ropp attending, Linda and Scott absent. And since we're not going to be voting on our approving minutes last month, we'll go directly to our guests. Are you guys all here for the same reason, talking to us about Summerfest?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Do you have everyone's names and spellings that you need, Rosemary? For these guys here, you have Shauna, Jacob Liskowski,
Gary.
Jacob, and I
Gary
didn't
Smith.
get his name.
Gary Smith.
Jerry Smith?
Gary.
Gary.
Smith.
is that Gary?
Yes.
Thank you.
And the puppy's name?
Raider,
Raider.
Oh, that's nice.
Raider. Okay. Thank you for attending. And whichever of you that would like to speak can take the floor.
Okay, well, Bristol Summerfest is coming up. We are getting everything in line. We're getting a lot more interest now. Those people would be filling in for people that drop out. But other than that, everything's looking great. They said that they will keep a presence at the park, right? So,
We're gonna have a minimum of 2 officers on during the event. And then possibly even a third one, so I'll be on duty for the whole event, so I'll be available.
Great.
So. Is that number still 650 to 800 people that you expect, or?
possibly, it's the first year,
Yeah.
so like, I'm not quite sure how many will come, but we're hoping it'll be a big turnout.
And you're invited, advertising on radio, news and all that?
We did try for the news. She did get with me last week and said that she has a full, like, free schedule this week. So I chose Wednesday, but I have not heard back from her, so I'm not looking up on that. Maybe Friday.
Okay.
Other than that, like social media.
Which news station?
WSBT.
Okay. Cause I know just from what I've watched, WNDU is usually they're pretty good about having a lot of hometown spotlights and stuff on as well. So I didn't know, that's why I asked, I wasn't sure which one.
Mm-hmm.
How is parking? Do you know how parking is going to be coordinated?
Yes, so we'll have Perry from 12:30. He'll be parking everyone.
And that's gonna be at the park itself?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we'll have handicap parking in the parking lot area, only, and then people can park like on the side.
So on this division going north and south, you're gonna allow them to park on the side of the road? Or no, because that's not gonna be,
No, like right in like that grassy kind of
Okay.
area.
Just the north side of the
So
park.
Mike, are you being the pointer for us?
Yeah,
Is that where
I
Mike's
am.
pointing? Thank
So
you,
whoever's
thank
got
you.
the person, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a little construction going on here right now.
yeah,
So there, or, during homecoming, they'll park anywhere downtown and walk.
We can do that too. We did get, like no festival parking signs, so like if that's the no deal, we can stick those out there.
on division there, because that's probably what's gonna have to happen. Is
Yeah.
there no parking on that, so then we can enforce it.
Okay,
Do you want them to supply the no parking then?
I would have to talk to chief, if that'd be okay if we
I
can.
think you said you have them.
yeah, we have some signs.
She
That's
has,
what I'm saying. If, do you want to use yours or do you want to use hers? Because they'll say please enforce probably.
Yeah, I would have to talk to the chief about that and get approval for that.
Just let us know, then we can communicate who's supplying those signs.
Yes.
Okay, and you're talking about for along Division Street?
Correct, because I know in homecoming, there's a lot, if those signs are not there, people
Right.
will line up
Right.
along there. On both sides, actually, so.
Because that's a wide enough road there.
And what time again does it start?
12, set noon.
Okay,
12 to 6.
let's say, cause we'll have to set those out early.
We may get street, depending on. When we talked there about Steve, talking
Yeah.
about this to the street department and stuff.
Yeah. Cause I just know from my experience doing it in Millbury for years and years. We'd have to get those signs out like by
Right.
5:30, 6 AM.
Yeah, yeah.
Because otherwise people start parking downtown and they go to restaurants, everything else, so.
That's all I have.
Have any questions for anybody? No, not for Sarah, but, yeah. Yeah, anything we can do for you guys to facilitate this event? Okay,
Beautiful.
Thank you for your input
Yeah.
and thank you for everything that you do to make it happen.
Thanks.
It's really cool.
appreciate it. And if that was the only part you guys wanted to stay for, that's all we have for the Summerfest. We are gonna be talking about some stuff to do with the COI requirements.
Can you switch on just for a few more seconds?
And that's what I wanted, if
Okay.
Shauna wanted
Thank you.
to stick around for that, but that is the next topic, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go right into that, Jill.
We're just talking about insurance stuff for
You
the,
guys, yeah, I
Yeah.
just.
So we're good then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're welcome to stick around for it, but.
Yeah, if you wanna see how the softball. they
Yeah,
stick
I'll
around.
be right there.
Yeah.
That call just happened.
Right, right.
Darn. Thanks,
Have a good
guys.
evening, guys.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, so I'll lead off with the certificate of liability. So there was several vendors that the library's working with that we'll call them our smaller vendors that just didn't have the insurance to do that. So you guys were losing, or we were relocating
Yeah.
some of the, what was it, 20 to 30 vendors.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, that's a lot. So they were all going to be in the St. Mary's parking lot to move off of the grounds of the town.
Oh.
So that was really shifting things in a unique way. And I'm like, well, where's the parking gonna be now for Cummins Park? And so talking to Mike and our legal counsel, we have sort of eliminated the certificate of liability, but created an agreement to hold us harmless. So she's been working with those vendors, which I think they're appreciative of. Now we can move everybody inside the park. So we're not having
Great.
stuff in different locations. So just make it easier for those who want to attend this event. It's a one-stop shop, except for pickleball tournament in Cummins Park.
Okay.
So going forward with other events, that's what we'll do for our smaller vendors. I mean, our food trucks are high risk, like the rock wall climbing, we're of course gonna still require the certificate of liability. But for example, I'm just trying to think of a smaller vendor, but we want them to be a part of this event, and this is a way to do it, that they're just signing the agreement that they're not gonna hold the town harmless on any incidents that might occur. And our legal counsel they drafted it, they're happy with it, we can continue to move forward and have those vendors attend these events.
That's good.
Great.
Do you have a copy that you could forward to us?
Yep. Actually, yeah, I can forward you a copy, but I don't know where you're at, I think you've gotten the majority of the signed copies from the vendors. So that's on whoever's hosting the event to do the work of, reaching to those vendors. It's not on us or the park board to do that. So that's been Shauna's wheelhouse.
Yes.
We thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll forward it all to you guys so you can look over that as well.
Thanks for navigating that.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
been
That
a
was-
headache for not just us, but
Yeah.
the library.
Mhm.
Because we want to have these vendors. We don't,
Right.
we want to make these events where all can attend.
Right. And is the idea, again, just to refresh my memory, that vendors that say like that have the climbing wall or do food trucks, like if they do a lot of these type of events, they're more likely to have a COL or be prepared to provide a COL, whereas the smaller vendors, like say just some small crafter, isn't gonna have that, so.
I could say yes, like our small crafters like Mary Kay, Avon,
Mhm.
they don't go, well, I should say Mary Kay and Avon, but they don't, that's not their primary source of funding. So it's just somebody doing it out of their home as a side hobby. Those are generally the ones that don't have the insurance.
Right.
And your homeowner's insurance is not going to cover that. So yes, your larger businesses have to have the insurance. Yep.
But our legal drew up a document that is gonna cover us legally, so the lawyer's happy, we're happy.
He was happy.
They're happy enough.
Thank you then, and also, keep us informed going forward how the process works. There's still gonna be ways we can improve things as we go, but
Yeah. But all food
thanks again
trucks
for
have
getting
to
that.
apply that.
And also like businesses that are trying to promote like Renewal Anderson, there's like another realty place, like they have COLs too that they give me, so.
Okay.
Most of your businesses have it.
All right, very good. Any questions for Bill on that? Okay, I believe then we can move on. Next thing we have on the agenda, Mike, was the overtime pay for trash pickup on holiday weekends. Is that something we're gonna need a vote for?
I don't know, I was bringing it up just to see if there's interest or if you perceive a need to do that, because we haven't done it in the past. So some of Jill's made the point that if they pick it up Friday afternoon, generally we can get through till Monday, but if we have a 3-day weekend, Saturday, Sunday, like Memorial Day weekend, where we get heavy usage of the park, should we bring our guys in Sunday morning or Monday morning, pick up trash? So that would be overtime work. I don't know if it'd take more than one guy. I don't know.
Are we seeing a need for it? I mean, are they coming in after these long weekends
I
and?
think Jill, you saw Memorial Day week or Memorial weekend Day weekend was kind of trashy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
trash
the
cans
stuff
were
was
full
overflowing.
early Saturday,
They were full Saturday.
or, yeah, and we had, I think,
Okay.
2 different events with families probably down there as a picnic.
Right.
And so, yeah, there was a concern, and then,
Yeah.
there was a lot of trash collected from the parks over the Memorial Day weekend.
I could certainly see that being an issue because the parks are gonna be
think
more used. then.
Eric had at least 15 to 20 bags in his truck after he did all that.
Okay.
Are people pretty good about putting the trash around the trash
They
cans? Yeah,
But
but it's.
you never know about
looks-
Ricky the raccoon and
Yeah.
if
Mhm,
he shows up.
mhm.
So other,
Yeah,
larger municipalities, they've got people working on weekends, to pick up trash,
Right.
take care of stuff. We
Right.
just haven't.
So that, at least for Congdon, was that Friday that we did the field trip thing, that was the Friday before Memorial Day. And the trash cans were full then. So,
I sort of assumed that when I was there early Saturday as well.
yeah,
Okay. So do we think part of the issue is that they
Yeah.
aren't getting
I think
emptied
that's
Friday
where we're
before?
going to start, is impress upon our guys the importance of getting those clean Fridays. It's not just a 1 day a week job.
Mhm, mhm.
Especially during the summer months.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we'll monitor from that. So I put it on the agenda for you guys just to more or less alert you that there's been a complaint. or
Well,
two
yeah.
that We've noticed.
All right, absolutely.
that's fair.
So I think that, you've offered some good solutions, at least to take an initial stab at this, try to get that done Fridays. I mean, certainly if we're emptying them Fridays and we have usage, especially on long weekends, I'm not opposed to paying somebody overtime to clean up if the need requires it. So you keep us posted on how that works and informed, and I'll try to keep an eye on things when I'm down there, and
Mhm.
we'll see how that's going. All right, anything else on that? Okay, next thing on the agenda, was just about the seating liability at the East Vistula Street property. Was there any further discussion that we needed to have about that? I feel like you maybe had raised the initial concern about liability there, but
I wasn't, concerned about providing seating, I was concerned about preventing people rolling and falling down that hill and hitting the rocks and landing in the river on the way down. Maybe I'm just being paranoid.
and you were talking about during fireworks, right?
I mean, that's what I'm thinking, if I'm a small family and one of my favorite memories of childhood was sitting out on the hill in the park and watching the fireworks.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, there's another hill and I'm gonna go sit over there. But
There's still some trees blocking the view too, for the ground fireworks.
yeah,
Fireworks from the ground, so I still think the hill at Condon is the better viewing point. It is the town's property, so it is a liability issue for them, potential.
yeah.
I thought the fireworks were really nice, so we had them by the post office.
Yeah, I think others have said that too.
See, I like the
I
old
said
spot
that
because
too.
I could see them
Yeah.
from my driveway.
I like it then.
The new spot, I can't see them.
That was all I was concerned about, was the liability of
And just-
people being on that kind of an incline without a safeguard.
Get one too.
Yeah. Thank you.
And again, that's a town property, right? Like clarified for me. And I get you
Yeah.
bring it up because it's gonna be a park event at which we have that concern,
Not a park, but
but we possibly could have some police tape put up or something. saying,
I
you know,
agree with
saying-
Andrew. I think people are gonna congregate to that area during homecoming for sure.
Yeah. Um,
So
I think if the
maybe-
bare minimum we can do is some, keep out tape across there.
Or do we wanna let them sit there?
Don't do stupid.
Stupid zone.
But I guess like that would be up to.
we don't have a name
if
for
the
this
town-
place yet. Don't let us name it after you.
Right.
In memory of.
Right.
Yeah.
Naming
Oh,
rights.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I would support trying to prevent people from sitting or accessing that area during the park, during homecoming, even if we don't have legal liability, I think there's a concern, like you say.
Yeah.
So, did you have anything else on that?
I just wanna let you know, I did follow up with our insurance broker and it's like any other of our properties. Yes, there's a little slant, there's a river there, but we are covered.
Okay.
Tony, you're good to
Alright.
go, thank you.
Okay.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you so much.
Shauna.
No, it's cool. Can I do that for someone, if for the park, if they're sure.
Oh, yeah, we can.
Sure, yeah, yeah, we can do that right now. Is this what Carol emailed me about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The,
I needed your sizes, I know, so we got some swag for the summer fest.
Look at that. That's right.
We got some of that too.
that's
Wow.
great.
These are t-shirts if anybody wants to see them. Bristol Summer Fest.
Okay.
I don't know who those are for. All right. Next thing was the East St. Joseph Street property. That's the property that the garden is currently located on. Mike clarified again for me that that is a town property. And so I was wanting to bring up the garden shed that I wanted to build there. And I feel like this is something that would require a vote. But as garden coordinator, anytime I've done something at the garden, I've tried to make it so that I can return it to its previous form as easily as possible, i.e. not building structures that are hard to move or remove. But for the garden shed, we're gonna need some sort of a pad, concrete pad, crushed limestone. I didn't know what was gonna be
Is
the,
limestone adequate? We've got that.
that like some sort of crushed gravel, and then I would do plywood on top of it to actually make the base of the shed, is how I saw some people making it. But I didn't know what was gonna be the best thing to put on that property. You know, crushed limestone is gonna be difficult to remove as well. And I didn't know if we had a pad board, then that could be used for like, say, a picnic table later. But when I was thinking about that, I was considering that as a park property. So I just wanted to put that idea out there, see if you guys had any ideas or thoughts or input on.
So you have the
Concrete
concrete
slab.
donated?
Yes, I have the shed that's donated, but I need to have the base before I can start assembling it, because it assembles from the base up. So.
Not from the roof down. Well, we have limestone that we can get there, so we could peel the topsoil back and put a base of lime crushed. It's crushed limestone, it's small limestone, like you see along the edge of, like a curve.
Yeah, just something to
Shoulder.
have some drainage to keep the water
So
off.
we've got that, so we could deliver that and level it for you.
Okay,
You want some elevation above the turf, maybe?
probably to help with the
Yeah.
drainage a little bit. But is that the best solution? I mean, you have it. Is that something that's easy to remove? If that's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Skid loader.
Have you got anything planned about the flowers for? Not about, in the park by the river? You and somebody were working on Mary Ann?
Yes, that's something we're still working on. Are you talking about the hermits?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is something we're still working on. Yeah.
I don't know why we couldn't just go ahead with the shed. We've talked about it for years as an option. I don't think there'd be any opposition to that.
So are you sure? I don't want to push anything through.
It's free and we've got the limestone already. And we've got a pile of it, so
Okay.
why don't you mark out the spot? And then when our guys get a chance, we'll peel that topsoil off and get that stone in there. So the trigger for that was when you call me or let me know you've got the spot marked.
And then notify you.
No sense waiting around another month on that if you're ready to.
Yeah, I prefer that as well, but again, I didn't want to feel like I was making any decisions for the property unilaterally or.
No, that property will be empty for quite a while, I expect.
Okay. All right, very good. That would be helpful then. I'll get that.
Getting a
marked
little
up.
bit of rent from.
He's getting some money out of it, yeah. Okay, thank you. I'll notify you then as soon as I've got that marked out. And do you have any questions, thought, input on that?
No, it's a great option. We don't have to do any. We're just in it for labor.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, that won't take long, any of that.
all right, great, thank you.
No, yeah, Mike's he's gonna build a shed himself, so we don't have that labor, right?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get my neighbor to help me. He's a young guy who's constantly building stuff. I'm gonna say you come out.
You know, it does have to meet our codes. It has to be beautiful. And it can't be so weird.
You've seen all of my work, Mike. I don't do anything that's not beautiful. Which is why I don't do.
It's a shack, we don't have Randy Grape out there putting a tag on it.
Right. Do I need to get a building permit before I put it up?
No,
Probably, we're gonna say no.
Okay.
You just-
there's no
All
other
right,
for water.
all right.
I assume this is a small shed.
Yeah, 6x8, 8 by
Yeah,
10.
you don't need a permit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty small.
I guess I should ask how large it is.
Right, there's some pretty big sheds.
Shed or pole barn?
See if this went through. My initial text to Scott didn't go through.
Scott is on vacation.
Okay.
He's gone right now. I did get that confirmed. He's,
Alright. Okay, so the next thing we have on the agenda is the climbing structure cost and relocation decision. Is that something we can do?
Could we visit Congdon Park? We don't have anything on the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped right over Condon. Yeah, we have Condon. What do you have for Condon?
So we've been kicking around this whole thing about picnic tables and benches and just places to be that's kind of a thing for homecoming or just any kind of festival. People want places to sit down, right? I wanted to float an idea out because I think we get started on an idea, but then we get tracked into something else. We look at other options. I'm thinking about like a multi-purpose set of benches for inside of that pavilion in Congdon.
Yeah,
So
multi-purpose what?
multi-purpose benches.
Okay.
So Mike, I'm gonna send you a link. To you've probably seen them before. It's an aluminum player's bench. It's like what you see on like a sports sideline, soccer, football game. They come in lengths of like 6, 12, 15 feet, so on and so forth. And they're about 180 pounds per 6-foot section. So I know that was one of the concerns that Eric had was, are these gonna end up getting picked up and relocated by some park patrons?
Yeah, I wish Eric was here tonight. I thought he had already pulled the trigger on getting the pads poured and getting the picnic tables for around the edge of the park.
Right.
You're
And
not proposing changing that? right?
no, I'm not.
Okay,
No,
okay.
no, not at
This
all.
is in addition
In
to.
addition to.
In addition to.
Thank you.
So this is something where, say like when we're not in festival mode, right? These kinds of benches would line sort of the inside of the pavilion. Not entirely, but have a few benches in there. And then once we go into festival mode, you want to clear that out for whatever performers are there. You take those out, and they can line sort of the path around the park. I'm thinking like if you like at the county fair.
Here they are.
Yeah. At the county fair, there are benches similar to that lined up back to back down through the entire pathway through the fair. Gives people a lot of places to sit. They're pretty cheap.
So these
They're
are
movable.
lightweight. You need a way to secure them when they're not used.
Were you stating the weight of them because you feel like it'd be heavy enough that
Well-
it wouldn't be likely to move that?
I think if you get them in 12-foot sections, so that's 360 pounds per bench.
It's a little hard to load on a pickup too.
You're gonna need 3 grown men and a boy to move that around.
Yeah.
So that's
I didn't realize they're that heavy.
I would not have guessed they were that heavy, but that's good.
Is that a 12-foot?
that looks like
Image.
12-foot.
So
Yeah.
what's the dimension of our, so you're just talking about maybe like 3 or 4 of those, the pavilion?
Yeah, like 4 of them. I meant to get down there today and measure the inside of that pavilion, and I didn't get around to it. But
Well, we can get pretty close.
I'd say
We-
it's more than 12 feet.
I believe we
deep,
have
so I
a
think you could get 3 or 4
large
in there.
bench or 2 large benches that used to be in there. Are they still in there? Or the wooden benches?
I don't think so.
So.
Similar
let's,
concept to what you're saying, but
yeah.
they just didn't get moved.
The roof is 24 that way by 50. So this looks like it's about a 20 by 50.
You've got
That's the
there's
roof.
2.
There's an overhang.
Yeah. There's the 2 openings in the back.
Right.
Are those Are those openings about between here and there? Or do they fade into this area?
I think they fade in,
Fade
Yeah.
in?
I would guess.
Like that, looks like that concrete pad.
Well, no, they did remove the whole back awning.
They did,
Yeah,
yeah, the awning,
not the awning, but the railing.
the railing, so there's 10 feet to there. So if it does go in, that's about 14. A 12-footer would fit really well right in that spot.
Yeah,
So you'd have,
Was in the 14 by 12 spot?
well, so you could have one there, one here, 1, 2, you could actually have 6 if you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And then relocate those during events is what I'm hearing.
so 6 12-foot sections. Is that what we're
Mm.
saying?
No, well, that's an option.
That would be the max. And that are,
If you want them around the edge.
so that's, because there's currently picnic tables in there, right?
Yeah.
But they're towards the center.
Yeah.
Is there enough room to have those on the edge and a picnic table still in
Yeah.
the center?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Then,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So no,
So if you figure 18 inches per rear end, that's 48 spots for people to sit during whatever event we have. That, for equipment that doesn't leave that park. Right? You need a crew to move it, but we wouldn't have to store it anywhere else. For the tune of about 3,000 and some change, maybe up to $4,000 including freight.
And then that would be the request that Linda's had to have seating along
Food alley.
Yeah,
those aisles.
I like the idea.
if you put them back to back, then you don't, it's, space is a concern to you, right? So. You put them back to back and of the footprint that each one would theoretically take up, you're in the less of a footprint.
Yeah.
Do we have a high desire need for seating inside the pavilion?
Like during,
Weekends? I'm just curious, how would that be utilized during? Because we have events, yeah, but we have
Yeah.
what, maybe 5, 6 events that we'd maybe be moving these benches for. But are people gonna drag them for their events?
then I don't know.
Right.
You know, like the cardio drumming, would they want to?
I don't think so. I don't think those ladies would move it, but just like if a family's having like a little family get together, a reunion or whatever.
Yeah.
Because we don't have picnic tables down there, they're gonna start to move the benches. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
But I think the idea you're saying is if you get a 12-footer, the thing's gonna weigh 360 pounds.
Yeah.
So people aren't even gonna be able to move them if they wanted to, hopefully. We're
What about 50 pounds?
Maybe.
we're thinking the weight of these benches will be heavy enough that people won't be able to move them.
It's just floating the idea out there. I know it's one of the things I hear a lot of people talk about are just places to sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the picnic tables are a big thing. It's a lot of what we hear, but just places to sit for whatever. I mean, we see it too, like what in the events that we have there, if there are performers and it's kind of like standing room only out there to watch the performers, and that's fine. We have some folks who maybe need a place to sit.
you
Put it
could
that way.
put, so if you had 6 of them, you could put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 rows right through there. Over.
Some additional.
Just a thought. I mean, that's.
No, I think that's a good idea. One of the other ideas that was floated for that seating solution along the eating row or food truck row, were some of those like wooden, kind of do-it-yourself benches that Kathy shared.
Yeah.
And we said that might be a good temporary option for that kind of thing, but then those would have to be taken out and stored somewhere or moved, because that kind of thing would get moved around or taken.
Right.
So this is a solution that provides more seating. If we go with the 12 footers, that should eliminate or reduce the possibility that they get moved around.
They make them in larger sections too, like if 360 pounds isn't large enough, then you can go 15 or 18
Yeah.
18 footers.
Um, what I would think would kind of decide it for us is what's gonna fit best in the pavilion without interrupting the flow or the ability to use picnic tables, and then also what is our maintenance staff gonna be able to move when it's time to move those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we could have Eric look into and maybe get us some?
Yeah, I
proposals
sent
or
him
numbers
that.
for next weekend,
I sent him
or
that
next month.
website so he can look at it. We'll, you wanna put it on the agenda for next month?
Yeah, would that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay,
Maybe
if
some
we can,
options inside the pavilion, what it would look like.
yeah, if he can, take some measurements, give us a proposal on what would fit best. And then also what they would be able to move. But no, I like that idea. It's a good one, because we can use more seating in the pavilion around events and during event time. Having the extra seating would be really nice. So Eric's gonna look into sizes and pricing for, did you refer to them as multi-purpose benches?
Yeah.
Just use the term multi-purpose bench for pavilion and event seating. And something I've been wanting to bring up regarding events for a while, and this would go to like the event planners. But if they've got anything like food trucks or things that people are gonna form a line in front of the truck, we should try to, as much as we can, have that truck back away from the walkway. But I'd say at least 6 feet or more. Because what I've noticed is, especially when you've got multiple food trucks, people get into line and
Yeah.
they're in the walkway. And I mean, that's difficult to get through for anybody, but I especially notice people who have mobility issues. It was almost like they wouldn't be able to go down that aisle because people are just standing, which that's where you'd stand to wait for your food,
Sure.
but
That's something we
Yeah.
can try to do on the application process. It's just saying how we need to make sure the walkways are accessible for all.
yeah, like just try to, take into account that people are gonna form a line in front of your truck and have them line up in the grass rather than on
Yeah,
the walkway. And I saw people trying to form a line that was more parallel to the walkway rather than going out into it, but it's still, once you had one on each side,
yeah.
it
I
just
think
got,
of homecoming
really
Saturday
crowded.
night.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, anything else on the picnic tables, the benches in Congdon? No. All right, thanks. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, we're on to Cummins Park. Climbing structure. Is that? Do you have any new information for us, Mike?
No,
is that something you need to?
No. Just clarity, I thought we had decided to move it. And I thought, Eric thought the decision was to move it. Okay, from here to here, in this area. And then expand the parking lot. And then now we're not sure if that's the priority job we want him to do. There was also talk about moving the swing set from here back here as well. And I can't find anything in the minutes where there was formal action to actually do that.
Yeah, I don't think we did, because I wasn't sure where we were even talking about moving it until you just showed us where that was.
I don't think you were at that meeting, the last discussion.
Yeah, I know there was some discussion of it.
So we have a price for this,
Mhm.
and that was
10,000.
10 grand to move.
Price
this.
for what?
Price.
Move the
Move it.
climbing structure.
Move the what?
Climbing structure.
Okay.
And we're waiting on borders for around here and, well, maybe not, maybe it's just mulch, extra mulch here. Till we make a decision on whether we're moving or not.
I think you've put the foam mats around the
Around
base.
the anchors.
Yeah, the anchors.
Mhm.
I think that 10,000 also include the installation when we moved it,
But not
Yes.
borders and mulch or
not the mulch or the borders.
Yeah.
to just
well,
to move and reinstall?
Yes,
So our guys would move the borders and move them all.
dig out the mulch too, if I recall.
Yeah,
What was the reason behind moving the swing set that you mentioned?
just to move all the toys to here.
Just to have them all in
To
one
eliminate the
area.
mulch on
Mhm.
the splash pad.
Splash pad, right, that's the most important.
Yes,
Gotcha.
the
yeah.
mulch is I won't say a concern, it's a
Yeah.
headache
Yeah.
for the guys.
And then I think one of the other things we thought about or talked about was being able to, if we move some of this stuff, have more seating, covered seating for parents while kids are playing on the
It would open that up.
splash pad. Um,
So the reason was just that, look, more parking.
Yeah. And I was curious about the parking. I know that comes up a lot. When or what are the times that we're having parking issues there? I mean, is it a weekly basis when there's a lot of pickleball going on, or is it just during events? When are we having problems with not having enough parking? Specifically in Cummins, since that's what we're talking about.
Time of the day you're asking?
Yeah, like is it events? Or is it?
I think it's all of it. It's our pickleball users, it's the moms there at the splash pad with their toddlers at lunchtime. It obviously became a concern when pickleball nets, the courts were installed, have a higher need. But if you go down there in the evenings, it's a full park.
Is it? Okay.
Mhm. Yeah,
'Cause I mean, I'm not out there every day or, you know.
and the
every week, but-
museum, it became some of the parking in front of the garage, so we have to make sure we don't park or block any of their access, which I
Right.
think it's gotten better.
And when that parking lot gets full, are people parking out beside the museum? Or are they going over to the church parking lot across the street? Cause that's extra parking, isn't it?
Are you talking about right along here?
You have to request the additional, oh, you're talking about over at
St.
the church,
Mary's.
yeah.
St. Mary's.
Oh,
So during
yes,
events,
over
yeah,
here.
that's where they'll use the.
Right,
I think that has to be requested as a courtesy though.
Yes, we generally talk to St. Mary's.
so it's better, especially during the day, that we not have people trying to cross kids.
Yeah.
Or
And
weekends, yeah.
The problem here is this business utilizes this county or this town parking lot as well, which is a little problematic. I don't think the museum gets a ton of traffic, although this quilt garden, I just heard is gonna be one of the most unusual quilt gardens in the whole mix this year.
Oh.
And it's one of the larger ones in the
All
mix.
right.
So
That
we'll
came
see
from
an
a master
increase.
gardener that was planting it. She said, this is gonna be really pretty phenomenal, she thinks.
Was that Mary Ann Martin or?
No, it was my sister-in-law. Was out there planting. So it's
Increase of traffic.
yeah, it's a big leaf with.
Oh, a maple. Is it a maple?
Not a maple leaf. What's the kind of tree that's right here? It's this tree's leaf. Anyway, I'm not remembering what it is. She just said it, from the plant flowers that they were planting in there, this could be pretty phenomenal. So anyways,
Hmm.
so we have
So we
that.
have a
as a-
huge draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have this tourist attraction. And this parking lot should be used for the tourists and for the museum primarily, and this should be used for the park. I think that's what Scott for years has been asking us to get this cleared so we could use this, or put limestone here so we could use this for parking.
Like diagonal parking there?
Yes, probably. But this expansion adds quite a bit more parking than what we get along here.
Is there any way to get kind of a total cost for that? I mean, we've got 10 to.
This would be
Like how
minimal
much
because we would
parking?
do this ourselves. We've got plenty of asphalt regrind that we.
Okay, so we wouldn't need to get any quotes to do the expansion of that.
We're gonna regrind that basketball court.
There you go.
Dump all that right
Well, we could, by the way, that project is about to start.
Yeah. That court's in bad shape. I didn't know how bad a shape that was in.
Yeah, I agree. I went down there to look at it.
Yeah,
It was pretty bad.
It should be improving access to the back of the museum, and if if the county museum is having more draws, do you think that the county would wanna pitch in at all in some of these developments around that they're benefiting from?
Probably not.
I don't know if they use the back half besides when they have items come in.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. This parking lot here needs to be redone as well.
Yeah.
It needs to be redone. It was on my schedule to redo for the last 2 years. Keep going on. So,
but that's something that would be the town's responsibility?
yeah,
It's towns.
yeah.
Okay, I was thinking that was the county's.
Although I'd asked the county park department to help on that one, for
Yeah.
sure. So just repave everything from this spot on out. We may wait till they get this project done, so we see what our new driveway looks like and what the level is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Another thing, I think whenever we have the opportunity to widen that parking lot, it could give another option for another project of some bathrooms.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right,
That's
that's the other thing we'd like in there. Nicer bathrooms in all the parks. But that's a good idea. Could do that at the same time. So where do we stand on that? Is that,
We got relocating costs, but we can't take formal action on anything, right?
right,
Right. So we just wait till next month.
okay. And I'll make sure it's communicated in emails and agenda that we'll be doing that and we'll be needing to make a decision on it. So we can have any questions covered before the meeting, hopefully. But thank you for bringing that map up, Mike. That makes it a lot easier for me to understand what you're talking about there. Yeah.
It's just, I'm glad when you zoom in, the pickleball courts don't look as crooked as they do when
I noticed that.
Oh,
When you
that's
zoom in, it's
interesting.
better.
yeah, it's better. I mean, that looks terrible. It's like
Yeah,
a
it looks like
random
they're
thing.
gonna-
But as you zoom in, they get a little more square.
It's a little pixelated on you.
But why is everything at a slant?
I
Basketball court?
know everything. It's like, let's just randomly carve out a
And
spot
I
here.
think the tennis court, that was the original, so whatever the reason.
Yeah, the tennis court is sort of, this is oddball. Well, this is odd. This is lined up with the property line. It looks like distance from here to here is the same as here to here. I'll just bet you. But why did they put the driveway in that weird angle? Why not go right straight down along the here and connect?
Yeah.
All right, well,
Were you saying there was a reason, when you brought up where Scott had been talking about wanting to do parking on that far side, was there a reason that we're not able to do that? Or did we just determine there wouldn't be enough spots added?
It just never got done.
Okay, so I mean, that is another possibility for adding spots there though still.
We could, if we were going to repave the parking lot up here, we might decide to grind all this asphalt up and put a new road with some parking along this edge included. Cause we could go clear out to here and make a straight shot down and
Yeah.
straighten it out.
Yeah, I mean, if we need parking and we can straighten some things out and add that, let's try to get that
We
done
should.
as well.
have a pickleball tax. Pay for this stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on those items for now? Last thing we had on was the sunshades quote discussion. Do we know if Eric got any numbers?
Still do not have.
Okay. One thing that came to mind to me was that, I mean, I know he's working with one specific vendor. Is that the only vendor he's seeking?
It's the only one right now.
Cause one of the playset, playground equipment, brochures that I gave to you, one of those companies they have sunshades. I remember that from when I was looking into the clamping
have what?
structure. Some of the playground equipment companies make sunshades,
Oh, sunshade.
shades for. So I didn't know if providing him with another possible vendor might help expedite that process. I can find it in my notes somewhere, but do you?
There's
still
another
have
place
it,
in Fort
brochure?
Wayne that does it. Yeah, I've got it at home.
Like one of the playground equipment vendors. And I also know that that specific vendor, has discounts on their work over the summer.
Hmm.
Is it over the summer? Because they do most of their work for schools, there's some difference in their
Oh.
cost in the summer versus the school year, so. But anyway, it came to mind that I know of another vendor, so we'll try to get that sent to him so he can see if there's anything there that helps. But he is moving forward with the concrete pads and the concrete tables that
Yes,
Congdon,
yes.
all right. You have anything else on that?
No.
All right, Hermance Park, we have the pavilion cleaning update and discussion.
So what I can provide on that is, from your last meeting, I think what we've decided is the guys, there's gonna be more of an in-house with the floor cleaning and the daily cleanings. But to reach out to a cleaning company, probably some of those quotes we got earlier this year, and just do a deep cleaning. So that's just something we're gonna get scheduled unless something changes. Our cardio drumming ladies I think are happy to clean the windows twice a year. So if the park board wants, I know we do have a line for cleaning. I think you guys have the funds to do maybe like 2 or 3 deep cleanings a year.
And what about the discussion of doing a cleaning, either in between rentals or because we talked about having somebody possibly go in on a Saturday morning and check to see if the rental was gonna need a cleaning, and I think we had brought up the idea of asking one of these cleaning companies if they'd be, willing to be like on call. If we know we have a Friday renter and a Saturday renter, or a Saturday renter and then a Sunday renter,
To come in and clean it if needed or to check the
Right.
building.
that they would come clean if needed, and we had talked about having a park staff, go and check it. And then say, yep, this looks good enough, or no, we need to call in the cleaning company. And Kathy Antonelli, said that she would volunteer to do that kind of thing on those weekends. I think if it's something that's needed, we should try to figure out how to do it without volunteer work, just because of sustainability.
Not sure we figured out we need it yet. We had an incident,
Okay,
but when I'm hearing you say that most of the time it's okay.
I would agree. It's not a high concern to have someone on call. Obviously, if there is, the next renter is going to contact us right away. We can then get in there to evaluate it. Probably wouldn't get a service to come in, or we're gonna pay them dearly on a weekend or late night or whatever it be.
Mhm.
Maybe that's when the park board or town staff comes in and does a cleaning. Now, obviously, those people then would lose their deposit.
Yeah, no, that's, I think what we discussed is if we had to do any kind of special cleaning after a renter comes in, that they should probably lose that deposit.
Yeah,
It's rented a lot.
it's not a high concern.
Yeah, we just haven't had complaints that I'm aware of.
Mm-mm. It's just, I think, just keeping up on those daily cleanings, making sure the stovetop and the fridge and those things are being done.
Mhm.
Does that stove and that fridge get much use? Realistically,
Much use, not like what a household use, but yeah, every weekend, most parties are utilizing it.
Okay.
In the freezer. The stove, probably not as much as what the fridge is. But we know people are because it's evident that it's being utilized.
Some of the other things we discussed, were just making it easier for renters to clean, providing them with, I don't know, so different mop and mop buckets, um, providing soap dispensers and or like catches under the soap dispensers so they weren't dripping on the floor. But I think that was a discussion mainly with Eric, so I didn't know if you guys had any update with regards to any of those possible improvements that we had talked about.
I'm not aware. I know we talked about mop heads, but until you get like something commercial in there, I don't, we changed it. We use, nope, Wildman. We use Wildman right now and they're changing out the mop heads, the dry and the wet. So I think that's helped, but it's a large space, it's a large floor, and if you're not dumping the water out, in the process of cleaning the floor, you're just spearing the dirt and mud.
Mhm.
And in fairness to those who are renting it, you're not probably staying till the floor dries.
Sure.
You're
Yeah,
walking
you're
out
not
and then when
noticing
when it dries, you're starting to see all that
Mhm.
not being cleaned. But I think that's with Eric getting in there with the floor cleaner will help.
Okay.
And just being aware, are the weekend rentals doing the checklist? Is everything being checked off?
Yeah. Yeah, if we can keep updated on that, how frequently is there a need for extra cleaning? Obviously, if it's just a one-time problem, having somebody on call and going all this extra legwork to solve that problem that doesn't occur very often doesn't seem as necessary.
So I don't think there's been a concern since the last meeting when it was brought up to your guys'
Okay.
attention. And generally, it's rented Saturdays and Sundays.
Do you guys, maybe you don't get complaints or feedback often enough, but do you have any method of compiling or keeping complaints or comments about, and I'm thinking most specifically from renters, people who have given us money for use of properties. Do we get complaints? If we do, are we keeping those or?
I don't know what Denise and Kathy are doing, but if there's stuff, I've shared it with the park board members. If it's been concerns like with Scott or such.
Mhm.
But I would say if Kathy's probably documenting it on their rental agreement.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
great. So it's being documented somewhere.
I would
Alright.
assume Kathy's documenting it.
Okay.
And each renter, there's a cleaning checklist if they're asked to leave,
Mhm.
okay? And that's part of the commitment of them getting their deposit back. So if that's being done, we also keep that, so the record, mentions of, no, the floor wasn't mopped, or this was found, or whatever damage was done. So yeah, we have that as well.
Okay, great, great. I don't think I have anything else for that at the moment, do you?
So if you guys are good, I know we can't make it formal, but we'll proceed on with the deep cleaning since it's in the budget.
Yeah, I would say continue going as we had discussed previously. Yep,
Okay.
that works. Anything else for Herman's Park for now? Memorial Park, we have tree removal cost and schedule update. I believe we voted to approve that last month, didn't we?
Hope so, because it's been scheduled.
That was my understanding, is that we did vote to approve that. So when's that scheduled
We
for?
got our second book, it's like $3,500 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
For a
much
tree
lower
down?
than, yeah, it's much lower than the first one, which
Holy
was
cow.
6 or 7 or 8,000, like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's scheduled.
There was a motion for 3,000, remove the tree.
All right. Do you know about when that will occur?
We're at the mercy of the tree guy.
Is that
It's scheduled.
BAM or is that a different one?
Not me, somebody else.
All right, very good. Anything else for Memorial Park?
Don't think so.
Budget? Nope. Looking forward, the organizational planning meetings. I didn't get that ready, but we also don't have our full team here, so that would not have mattered much. But again, I will try to send an outline before the next meeting so people have time to look at it and we can discuss at the end of our next meeting how we want to move forward with those. That's my thought on it. Any questions or thoughts on that? Okay. If there's nothing else, our next meeting will be July 1st at 6 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
That's a busy vacation week. Is everybody gonna be around?
Ah,
I'll be here.
I will be here, yes.
Okay.
Is that, were you off that week, spring break or, well, now
No,
you're summertime, summertime. You can tell I don't have kids.
Cause right now I won't be working that week and planning on being around.
You're planning on being around or not planning on being
I am
around?
planning on being around, yeah.
Okay.
Just wanna make sure before while we have folks here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that works for my schedule. I can't speak
Okay.
for Linda or Scott. But I do think we should
Oh,
check and see, consider moving it, what, back a week?
I don't know about consider moving it, but just make sure that
Okay,
I'll be around.
okay. Confirm they'll be here. All right.
What are you gonna do?
I just need to check with Scott and Linda to make sure that they won't have any conflicts with our next meeting on July 1st.
We'll come here. I gotta have something to do that day.
Linda already had her fun this year.
That's what I'm thinking. She can't get another one. So, all right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Can we make a motion to adjourn?
Can we vote to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make it then.
I'll second.